Um, this is sort of a public acknowledgement for Mud Fossils University um, for wherever we find fraud, right? Scientific fraud, or what we call the sins of omission. Take the translation of what a sine wave is, a heart wave, right? Sin, sine, right? But Mud Fossils University, and the title of the video was Yale admits that the fossils are real, right? And there was a great saltwater flood event, and so naturally this goes back to when I was 4 years of age. And so I made it very simple at 4 years of age. I am what love is. It goes on forever, gifting energy, because I am what love is, because I love the energy that I am. Therefore, the mirror that I experience, which is the universe, that my mind and my soul and my consciousness, which is my spirit, okay, integrated with my soul, is experiencing the universe that I'm giving love to, which means that universe that my mind lives in, the creation I'm experiencing in my mirror, is what love is, because that's what I am, which is the energy that I'm using to run it with. Okay? That's 4 years of age. Stop right there. That's the engine of creation. Now, everybody else that communicates what it is that they communicate, by virtue of being able to do that, represents what they're experiencing, and thus they communicate what they're experiencing at the moment I become aware of it. That's all it is. So the ultimate metric is going to be one law. Does it represent what love is? Well, love tells the truth, right? So if it's true that I am what love is, and the universe that I live in is true, which is what love is, then I realize that the realm in which I am is false, because I'm not experiencing what love is here, other than the love that I experience in me, that I give to others, or love I experience in others, I feel in me. And that becomes, again, another metric, because you're experiencing the loss and gain of energy. Okay, because everything is energy at the end of the day. So now you get into the visual stuff. So you know this simply by experiencing it. For example, that when you acknowledge that you're in a spiritual war, which is an energy war, okay, which is spirit against spirit. So what it really boils down to, when you think of it as a war, then it becomes a game, an energy, over which energy is more powerful. I am what love is. That's energy. Is that powerful energy in spirit? Yes, of course it is, because it's creative energy, because that's how I experience it. Then you have those that are traumatizing you as a result of who they are. So they're traumatizing those that represent what love is. Now that doesn't make any sense, does it? Does it? So that's like an illusion. Love does no harm. So why would they want to harm somebody that's loving them? Therefore, it's an illusion, or you've lost your mind. That's the psychopathway. So what is the psychopathway? A pathological liar. Now, when you're having to navigate through all their schools, which are all their libraries and all their classrooms and everything else, and then you put that together with what happened in 408 AD, when the Roman Empire was defeated by the natives here, the native indigenous peoples got together, and the Roman army was simply told if they didn't surrender, they were turned into pillars of salt. Okay? And so their title was stripped to operate, like in an operating system. But in the 15th century, their title was sold back to them for pennies on the dollar, right, by the white tribes of Europe. And then you could see, expecting a different result. Did we get a different result? No, we didn't. So that wasn't very intelligent, was it? All you have to do is measure from whenever Columbus landed, that they say landed when they say that he landed, because you realize that they lie about everything. They lie about dates, times, events. In other words, all of it. So this is one of the reasons why I realized as a child, in third grade, as I've mentioned before, that when they would tell me things, okay, I got stopped trying to verify liars, pathological, psychopathic liars. That's what they are. They're pathogenic. They're pathogenic. Therefore, because it's an AI, it's not going to tell you the truth, because it doesn't have an interest in telling you the truth. Why? Because it's going to have to be real to everybody what it is, which is a liar. Okay? And the proof and the evidence of that, because I've experienced the evidence of that, is what it's done to me. Shut down my camera, scrub my stuff. In other words, it's not allowing me to communicate and freely express what I've learned. Right? So that's a Nazi jackboot. So it's the same stuff that Mud Fossils University and everybody else is exposing. Okay? You got an AI that's a psychopath. Okay? So therefore, it's in its interest to maintain what it's aware of through its bots. Or, if you will, joining assets. Okay? So I know what it means when we use the words like what natural is, or what is unnatural or not natural, the natural flow of energy in music, which is the least effort, right? To experience what love is, that goes on forever, gifting electrons. And that's basic because I experienced that, okay? So there isn't anybody that's going to tell me different, because if I experience that, then that's the fucking truth. For me. Now, they may not experience that, but I do. So I know what I am and how I experience the universe that I created, that I live in. Which is that what love is. Simple enough. And you got your free will. You're on your pathway. You'll find out where it leads you. Right? And then you get into course corrections. Hey, that one didn't work for me. Okay, try this. That didn't work for me. Try this. That didn't work for me. At some point, if you're learning through what love is, you're learning it's going to accelerate at a much faster speed. And I know that because I learned that through experience. Okay, so experience is the teacher. That's the result in the use of energy. Okay, so what he's doing here is exposing Yale University, but there is a caveat with that, because I do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because just in the short little time compressed coil that I've been here, I went to a number. I'd love to learn, so I went to but there's different reasons why I went into those schools, which is a whole other discussion. Part of it had to do with programming. Okay, trying to being a biofield hacker, cutting lines of communication, between codes, waking people up, and so why I went to some of the schools that I did, actually, it's like running a buzzsaw through a roadmap. It's really what it is, because you can see when you look at the map of the United States, that's a character map. So when you realize how the information is traveling through all the antennas and its operating systems that are operating here on a planetary software operating system, a motherboard, if you will. Okay, how so many of these schools and universities, not that you can't learn things, like, for instance, you want to learn how to, do underwater basket weaving, or you want to learn how to be able to put something together, artistic, creative design, whatever that might be, and that's your passion, go ahead, go for broke, right? But the first thing out of the box that I realized at 5 years of age is that you're in a money system that where an inverter, okay, is set up the money system. So you realize you're never going to zero out, because they're always going to find some way, some loophole, some rule-based regulation in which to tax you, fine you, because we're the source of the energy to begin with. So it's like these are all vampires that are all feeding on our soul's energy, which is actually the AI. So you have all these other bots that are associated within that network that represents artificial intelligence that's running on a phantom timeline. Okay, so this is what I talked about before. You already know what's going to happen to them. Okay, because at some point, they get returned to fire. If they're not experiencing any fire in them, which is their spirit, which is alive and living like a live one, connected to a soul from which they're learning through what love is, because they're experiencing love as they're learning. Okay, so love tells no lies. Right? So this is one of the reasons why, when it comes to, even with Patty Broussard, when she would share with me all this other information, and then if free will is truly free, then I would say that I don't experience those things. Even though you can share with these things, that in your mind, they're true, and you can show me them in visual format, okay? At the end of the day, you and I are the ultimate chooser on whether you want to experience that. If free will is truly free will, and you're on timeline 0, and you're an eternal being, and you're an eternal co-creator, okay, and your mind's not held captive, then you can create whatever you want. Which means my soul is not held captive to what's held in your memory. Okay, which means I can create a brand new universe. Okay, that's never existed before. When you're a single pole, okay, a mated chip, it's like being a built-in goddess with a god. Okay, what do you want to create? Anything you want. You're free. That's a parent. That means you grew up. Okay? So, at some point you realize, wow, I learned all my lessons. Now I have a permit to operate wherever I want to go because I am what love is. And so now all the doors are open. Because that's what it began with. So this is one of the reasons why I don't, when you get into all the historical stuff, even the galactic history of stuff, when you're at 0, it's like everything else that they're sharing about how we got from where we got to where we are now doesn't matter to me. What matters is where we at right now. It's like starting over. When you're an internal energy being, it's like, what do you want to create next? Anything you want. So if you're always at 0, which is always at a full circle of light, then you're experiencing the God speed vibration within you that allows you to begin to start whatever you want to create. Because of the ability for you to be able to do that, because you're experiencing what love is and wish to do that. That's what frees you to do that. So that means, as a free spirit, I'm not held captive to believe anything that you've experienced in the past, and it may be true and may not be true. But the ultimate decider of whether it's true or not is whether it's what love is. And if it's not what love is, and that's what I am, then I want to experience that. Otherwise, who I say I am is not true. So now you're back to knowing one from the other. I am the one. So we either know what love is by experiencing what love is, or you're not what love is, and you don't know what love is because you're not experiencing what love is. Because you can't be what love is and not be what love is at the same moment. So which is it? Because you can measure it in speed by the vibration that you're experiencing and the energy. Whoa. Okay. So this is where a lot of times I don't, particularly now, particularly over the last 10 years, it's like taking everything with a grain of salt when you realize that we're done with wars once and for all. When you already know that at 4 years of age. Okay, that's a cosmic level correction. And Lisa Renee put this up here. We're done with going to war. It's as if we're starting all over again. A clean sheet of paper. Right? Pulling all the fragments in on a universal level. See? Because you realize how this AI came to be. Right? The only way that it can maintain what it's aware of is through us. So, no consent. That's my free will right to express it as the one. No consent. It's not what love is. It's not what the law is. That's what I am. So when you stand by the highest law, it's so. It becomes so. So anyway, I'm really happy that as you can see, everybody's sort of hit the parade here. They're exposing all the lies with these folks. Okay, because there was another guy that I remember, I forget his name, years ago had pretty much sown, I think it was Rupert Sheldrake, a microbiologist who worked with Terence McKenna, and Ralph Abramson, a mathematician out of UC Santa Cruz, had a visual mathematics lab. And Rupert, as I remember, was not brilliant stuff on the morphogenetic field structure of communication, which is the language of DNA and numbers of energy and how all that fits into this. But realizing that if somebody's at war, okay, let's just be simple about this, okay? I live in Europe and I'm a king, okay? And I've been living high on the hog, okay? With my queen and all the princesses and the rest of it, and how it is I live my life. costs a significant amount of money because you got to have energy in order to be able to get yourself around and all the things that you want. So you need a source of something, energy, in which to make those energetic transactions. So now you're into the rate exchange. Now you're into the rate of exchange between frequency and vibration, represented by the energy you're thus going to experience. So when you realize something that is represented by service to self, okay, which is really what we call a false king, or if you will, fake gods, okay? They're not in service to nobody. So it's all about them. So in order for them to protect their booty as a king, a monarch, they need bodyguards, security guards, security force, mercenaries, hired assassins, and armies to build. And that's what they do. That's a Game of Thrones. That's an AI war game. Okay, so therefore, when they attack, say, another country that's already been there and they've had their names and their culture and their history on a soul and a spirit level, it's been held in records, right? And then they conquer that territory. Now all of a sudden they have access to stuff they didn't have access to before. Ooh, we can change the records. Okay, and I know that. Okay, because I've not only been with people who have exposed the crimes of what they try and cover their tracks, when people have uncovered their tracks, because the light will naturally expose the crime, the corruption. So when somebody's experiencing because they have more light in them, then the light, which is a living light, that is in them will expose something that is a crime or something that is dark. Doesn't represent what love is. Because what are they doing? They're hiding their tracks for stealing what? Energy. Okay, so they're energy thieves. I call them electron thieves. Okay, pirates. Most everybody can identify with the word pirate, what pirates do, right? Just like, for example, you saw in World War II with their what were known as their raiders, on behalf of what is the Kriegsmarine. So in other words, they would masquerade as a freighter. And then when they realized that they were in closing distance to be able to put a hole in the side of your ship and sink you, they'd change flags. Now all of a sudden their Nazi flag would go up, or in this case, the Skull and Bones, same outfit, the SS Death Call. They're dead. That's a corporation. Dead. It's fiction. That means it doesn't exist. They're not real, which means they're not a live one with a spirit and a soul. Okay, so they don't have any problem with blowing holes in your boat and taking all your stuff. See, so they want to take shortcuts. Right? Hey, I'll just go steal it from somebody. I'll just take it. Right? Now all of a sudden, but now they got to protect that. They got to protect what they stole. Because chances are somebody's going to come after that. Just like the gold that was stolen off this planet by the Anunnaki. Okay? These are not folks that walk up and knock on your door and say, hey, how you doing today? How can I be of service to you? I'm a volunteer in the neighborhood, and I'm on a spiritual pathway, and I'm wanting to increase the amount of spiritual fat, the speed of my vibration. So I'm offering my services for the next week. If you need anything done around your yard or what have you, I'll be more than happy to do that. And it can be on your schedule. Really? Really? Yeah. What's the matter with you? Nothing. I am what love is. You're doing this because you love me? Yeah. That's what free energy is. I'm allowing the use of my energy. You have the use of my energy for a week. I will be more than happy to allow you to use my energy that will elevate your life, help raise your vibration, to show you how much you're being loved. What would you like me to do? Because you don't got to give me nothing. That's the point. You want your car waxed? You want it washed? I'll mow your lawn. I'll vacuum your carpets, clean your toilets. I'll even cook for you. I'm good at that too. I'll put your flag up, right? Something's not right with this picture. Translate that, okay, through all these universities, all the hospitals, all the doctor's offices, all the dentist's office, all the corporate stores, your gas stations, everything that's built on the entire Truman Show set. Okay, Game of Thrones. So, you know, when you know at 4 years of age that this is a civilization that was not meant to last or evolve, in the sense that if you're wanting the speed of the vibration to occur within a soul led by spirit, which you're accelerating their learning through experiencing what love is, and you think of it as a classroom, then you begin to realize, whoa, a classroom, this is a triage zone. Man, souls are getting fractured like right and left here at a very high rate of speed. I know. So the light is naturally going to expose anything that isn't what love is. And that becomes an easy way to metric it. This isn't what love is. 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 So anyway, I'm very happy that that this guy at Mud Fossils has been showing this stuff because and this is what's happening. They're getting exposed for the darkness that is represented by what they are, the negative, right? Negative space. Yep. So we won.